Okay, so can you trade for a living? This is a question I get in one degree or other, one shape or other, from a lot of people, because for a lot, it's really what they want to be doing. They don't want to be going out there anymore and doing, working for others, etc. It's the ultimate place to be. Now, of course, you've got all those guys out there with their Ferraris, etc., etc., and Lamborghinis that they've hired, which will tell you you can trade for a living. This is my car. This is my big flat that I've just walked into, but it's still for sale. But whatever it may be, you'll get these people out there. But the question is, can you really trade for a living? Here's some questions for you. And certainly one thing I would say, it depends. Do you have enough money to start with? Do you seriously think if you start with £1,000 at this time next year, you're going to be trading 1,000,000? Now, I'm not saying that's impossible, but realistically, if you look at 85-90% of traders are losing money, that only leaves you in the top 10% of people that are actually making money, and of the 10%, you'll probably be in the top 1%, or you'll be a real standout trader if you're taking that 1,000 and making it 1,000,000. Not saying it's impossible. Everything's possible, but are you capable? And I guess that's the next question is: can you trade profitably? Can you trade consistently? It's all well and good having a decent run, but over a number of years, 2 years, 3 years, have you traded consistently? If you're trading consistently, well, then you've got a chance, haven't you, of doing something. At least you know, one, I'm profitable, two, I'm consistently profitable, and three, well, the other one, do you have enough money, is a question that only you can answer. However, I'll give you some idea about expectations. How much do you need to make? Let's just take, for example, someone that wants to make 10,000 a year. Now, let's go to a bit of realism here. I talked about the percentage of winning traders. I'll take it a different step. With hedge funds, etc., and funds, there's records of what people do. I mean, sometimes they're really well hidden, so you never find out what they're really doing, and you really want the ones that are clear and you can see what they're doing. So the ones that are clear and you can see what they're doing, those regulated funds which are out there, you can see exactly what they're doing on an annual basis. Now, some of the top guys, and certainly I've interviewed someone recently from an asset manager company, and their top guy is doing around about 20% a year. I'll rephrase that, or say that again. He's making 20% a year, and he's their top guy. He's winning all sorts of recognition from hedge fund companies and magazines and all sorts of things. He's been interviewed left, right, and centre, and he does 20% a year. Now, I know that doesn't fit with a lot of people's possible expectations. They want that in a month or a week, and they're expecting these big numbers. But you want to be doing it on the long term. Anyone that's looking after a fund, a pension fund, or something that you're going to live off of, you need to be trading it not overly aggressively. You've got to control it. You've got to manage your drawdowns. Everything is important. So 20% a year, let's just use that figure for a moment. So how much do you need to make? You need 20,000, or you need 100,000 to start with. And that's if all going well. Now, of course, you could compound some of the money during the year. There's so many questions. What happens if they fluctuate massively? And if you've got fixed cost outgoings, then you need to have fixed income, ideally, or you're drawing down on your money. What happens if you make a loss? Well, again, you're drawing down perhaps into your capital. Maybe next year you won't be earning so much. Are you going to remove your profits or compound them? If you're just looking like some of us do in terms of trading for a pension, more aimed at a pension for ourselves as opposed to a living. Well, it will be a living in the future, but at the moment it's trading into a pension. It can be compounded, and you can build things up quite nicely. Compounding is an amazing thing to do, and you'll see that even over a year, what effects compounding can have on your accounts. But if you're removing your profits, then you've got to probably be very, very consistent in the longer run. Your capital could be eroded if you go through a losing period. We've already run through that. And what happens if you go through a multi-month drawdown? This can happen with anyone. They can have 2, 3, 4 months on a row where things just ain't working for them. They go on holiday, anything could happen. What happens? So there's big considerations to make when you're deciding whether you're going to be trading for a living. Trading for others. This is the balance where, well, okay, I don't have enough money, you could be saying, and then, well, where can I get money to trade to make money? Well, this is where we look at all these different opportunities, and I put those in with a big question on a lot of occasions. And as I say, I discussed this particular subject with a chap from Darwin X recently, and he laid it out quite clearly that a lot of these proprietary companies, I'm not going to mention names, but a lot of them, you've got either no chance of actually making money because their rules are triggered against you, so all they're doing is drawing people in, or realistically, if you are making money, you're going to be very one of the very few that are making money. And it's not right. It's not managed properly. They're not FCA regulated or FSA regulated. They're the cowboys of this world. Then you've got asset managers. And asset managers is where there's someone actually managing what you're doing effectively, and they're regulated. So it's not just you. You've got proper regulation. So it's an alternative. Now, if you can prove you're profitable, you could do it to go straight into this sort of thing. If you've got your accounts and they're there to be audited, you could be going in quite quickly, and you still need to, with someone like Darwin X, you would still need to be proving that you can do it more, but it could be a shortcut if you can prove it. Otherwise, you've got to wait a time. As I say, you can trade for others. Here, don't know why I put that line in there. It's an extra one. Now, if you're doing it for friends and family, one thing to bear in mind: friends and family, or friends of friends, until you start losing them something, and then they become a little bit sort of agitated, and it can really give you, as I've said here, a great deal of unexpected pressure, or pleasure. It depends, but very unexpected pressure that sort of comes in from trading for people that are so close to you. If they're just a number and someone else is managing it, you may be able to manage it and trade better, and that's the better way out of it. So you could work with basically an asset manager. Now there's some out there. There's a few out there. There's quite a few, as I say, very dodgy ones that are not asset managers at all. They're just prop sort of companies. But then the asset managers themselves, there are some good ones. Now, when you're trading with these, you don't have to have a significant amount of capital or personal capital. In fact, Darwin X, which I interviewed the chief executive recently, say last week, it was a couple of weeks ago now, he was describing how you can come in with basically nothing and you can start building your track record. But you've got to build a track record. Now, so are you wanting to make a trade for a living? Does it need to be right now, or can it be something that you look for in the future? Could you give it a few years, 3-4 years? Oops, sorry. If you've got time, you've got a chance to build up that record, give yourself confidence, and really understand is this something I can really do? So it's possible to do without any capital at all. You can have some capital and go in there and trade it and crack on with in your own steam, and still attract capital once you've done it for a period. You've got, with these systems, if anyone's any good, they're going to want to see a track record. They're not just wanting to see you come in and okay, here's some money. Firstly, you've got to attract money. Often the money comes from other traders, and particularly with Darwin X I was talking about, their traders actually look at other people that are trading well and might actually put some of their money in their fund. So they're actually balancing out everything that's going on there. If you're really consistent, you can make money far quicker this way than you're going to do it with your own money. You've got a better chance of actually doing it properly, and it's going to be regulated, etc. And as I say, it's something that can be done. There's parts that you need to be doing before you can actually start doing this for third parties, but you can start on the road fairly early. But whether or not you can actually do it and remain consistent and do it for a living is down to you. Is it doable? Of course it is. There's plenty of guys doing it. You can actually, if you go onto DarwinX's site, you can actually find the guys that are making money and the sort of money they're making, and they're getting paid to make money for other people, and that is where they make their money, trading for a living. They're not necessarily doing it on their own, but they can start putting their own money in their own fund and trade their own money effectively. Okay, so in summary then, here, it is possible to trade for a living. It's just how you do it. For a lot of people, you're not necessarily going to do it with your own money unless you've got a decent wedge of money. Start getting up beyond the 100,000s to 200,000, 300,000, and you've got a better chance of doing it. And there's less pressure, unless of course you've got a massive requirement to come from that. Trading for others, you don't need to have a significant capital to start. In fact, you don't need any capital at all. You can just on one of their systems literally prove yourself on their system, on their virtual system, and eventually even on the virtual system they start putting money towards you, and you can actually earn using their virtual system, but you're actually earning proper money, and it's all completely above board and it's regulated, the whole lot of it. The key thing here, of course, is consistency. Whatever you're doing, if you just want to go out there and think you're going to hit a few home runs and that's going to be good enough, it ain't going to be good enough. It's certainly for proper asset management money, or managers' money. They're not going to be interested. Consistency is the key thing here. So can you do it? Well, yes. You can do it. There are, as I say, some reputable companies out of there. You can speak to them. You can go on. You can give yourself a go. In fact, I looked at it a different way recently and thought, I was looking at their system, and DarwinX system, and they've got this opportunity. Okay, you pay $39 euros a month to be a member, to stay on it and run through it. During that time of $39 a month, you can actually be making real money from it. So you can get your 39 euros back, or you can open an account with them. They're a broker as well, and so you don't have any fees at all. But during that time, you're fine. But if you're opening an account, you've still got risk because it's your money. If you're trading on their virtual account, you're trading for a cost of €39 a month. However, if you lose anything, you're not losing anything. If you make something and start making money, you're actually making money. So it's one of those things where you're getting into the trading game where you might give yourself a chance of, well, can I trade for a living? If I do it like this, other people are watching. And that's a key thing when you're trading, is can you survive? And I haven't put it anywhere else on here. If other people are watching what you're doing, you're not going to get phone calls every day from an asset manager. You are if you're doing it for a friend, or potentially for a friend, or you're doing it for family, etc. You might get regular calls and discussions go ahead. Here, there's no pressure. You can just do it, but you're still being seen. So it puts you into that bracket of you need to build your confidence up, and it might actually get you into some good behavior in terms of the way you trade. There again, you might realize that it's really not for you, and you haven't lost very much at all from the outset. Anyway, food for thought. So yes, you can trade for a living. It's easier to do it if you've got more money, and it's then how you attract the money that's important. Okay, I will leave it there. Hope you find this useful. You do, thumbs up. I will attach you to a video actually I had with the CEO of DarwinX, and he discusses things very bluntly, so you may find that useful. Okay, take care. Bye for now.